Emrik Osuna was born on October 16, 2010, to parents Cecile Lucero and Emrik Osuna, both 29. Emrik lived in Santa Ana, California with his mom, Cecile, and during the summer of 2017, Cecile discovered she was pregnant again with her fifth child after having twins, a boy and a girl, just a year and a half earlier. Upon discovering the pregnancy, the 29-year-old mother began to physically abuse her 1-year-old twins. And on the night of December 16, 2017, after her live-in boyfriend and the father of her twins and unborn baby left for a Christmas party, Cecile slammed her daughter's head into a metal bed frame. She was 7 months pregnant at this time and was upset about the unplanned pregnancy and the twins' father doting on them instead of paying attention to her. She then asked a friend to take the little girl to the hospital. The friend drove her to the UCI Medical Center, where the staff called the police, notifying them of the injuries the little girl suffered: a brain bleed and partial paralysis. After receiving the call, police went to Cecile's home to check on her other children and found that the twin brother also showed injuries of abuse, including skull and rib fracture. He was also quickly taken to the same hospital as his sister for treatment, while the two older children were unharmed. Cecile was arrested and taken into custody. When police questioned her the first time, she claimed that the toddler had fallen in the bathroom, but they didn't believe this story because they knew the extent of the girl's injuries, which also included major trauma to the head and numerous signs of physical abuse, including a broken elbow that was healing. Later, Cecile was interviewed again by the Santa Ana Police Department's Special Crimes Unit, and she admitted to intentionally causing injuries to the first child and abusing the second child when she discovered she was pregnant again. Cecile Lucero was charged with 2 counts of torture, child abuse, and assault on a child with force likely to produce great bodily injury, and a judge set her bail at $1 million. In late January 2018, Cecile pled guilty to 1 count of assault, resulting in a comatose state or paralysis of a young child under 8, and 1 count of child abuse and endangerment, and she also admitted to causing great bodily injury on a child younger than 5. As part of the negotiated plea deal with prosecutors, the 2 felony counts of torture were dismissed. The 2 older children were left in the custody of their father. Cecile was sentenced to 1,496 days behind bars, or 4 years in prison, with time served for the attack on her twins. In February 2018, Emrik Osuna was sent to Meridian, Idaho, to live with his biological father, Emrik Osuna, and his wife, Monique Osuna, both 29. But what was supposed to be a new life and fresh start for Emrik turned out to be the complete opposite, and he would be subjected to prolonged torture at the hands of the people who are responsible for his well-being. During the spring and summer of 2020, Monique would force Emrik to exercise for hours on end, at times for more than 12 hours and sometimes up to 20 hours at a time. She forced the 9-year-old to do push-ups, jumping jacks, wall sits, and inchworm. She would also begin to regularly beat him with her hands and various household items such as belts, dog leash, a metal spoon, and even a frying pan. She would drag Emrik by his hair and kick him in his crotch, and would even taunt him. And if Emrik stopped exercising, Monique would stomp into the kitchen and hit him. He was forced to exercise continuously throughout the day, even as the other kids ate. All of the abuse was caught on a nanny cam in the apartment, with 251 hours of footage by the summer of 2020. In one video, Eric just stepped over Emrik while he exercised as if though he wasn't there. And on one instance, Eric woke Emrik up and told him to get back to exercising. In 2018, Emrik, now 7, weighed just 55 pounds. And at this time, the doctors felt as if though his weight was a concern because they felt it was too low, but otherwise he was healthy. And by the summer of 2020, the now 9-year-old's rib cage was completely visible. Emrik would have to sleep on the floor in the closet without pillows or a blanket, and before they went to bed every night, the family would gather all the pillows and blankets. In a video clip on August 24th, 2020, Monique can be heard telling Emrik, quote, "You're on my shit list for the rest of your life," end quote. And just 9 days later, Emrik will pass away. She began starving him 5 days before he died. On September 1st, 2020, Emrik was extremely unwell and wasn't getting any better, so Monique and Eric text back and forth about whether they should take him to the hospital, but did not seek medical help. Instead, they called a friend over to the apartment and tried to put Pedialyte in Emrik's mouth, but he was unresponsive. It was only after he stopped breathing that 911 was called. When Meridian police and emergency responders came to the apartment, Emrik was lying on the floor and he was visibly bruised. With caked vomit on his face, he appeared to be underweight and only had on a diaper. Emrik wasn't breathing and they could not get a pulse nor a heartbeat. He was quickly transported to St. Luke's Regional Medical Center in Boise, Idaho. Emrik had gotten very tired, fell asleep, and went into cardiac arrest and died the next day, and Eric and Monique were arrested. Emrik's autopsy showed deep bruising from the middle of his back down to his buttocks and thighs. He had at least 10 bruises. Some were beginning to heal, while other bruises were new. Along with the extensive trauma, an evaluation conducted by St. Luke's pediatrician Matthew Cox showed that Emrik was anemic, had mild kidney failure, a zinc deficiency, and was starved. He also stated that Emrik's sodium levels were the highest he'd ever seen documented in a human, and that elevated sodium levels are a symptom of dehydration. During his autopsy, 9-year-old Emrik weighed only 41 pounds. Eric and Monique Osuna were both charged with one felony count of injury to a child. In a statement read at the plea hearing, Monique said that at first things seemed to be going well and that Emrik was, quote, "a sweet little boy that fit in really well with our family," and that after a while Emrik started displaying concerning behaviors and she began to physically punish him in response. On February 16, 2022, Monique Osuna pled guilty to murder in the first degree. She admitted to killing her stepson by numerous patterns of abuse that led to his death. Emrik Osuna pled guilty to murder on March 16, 2022. He was charged for felicitating the abuse by knowing about it and doing nothing to stop it. During the sentence hearing, ADA County Prosecutor John Dinger and Tamara Brooke Kelly played more than a dozen videos from the nanny cameras that documented the months of torture Emrik endured. The courtroom remained silent for over an hour. As the footage played, Monique held her head down, covered her face with her hair to avoid watching, and occasionally wiped away tears. In one video shown in court, Monique was seen unloading groceries and teasing Emrik about the food while he continued to exercise. She then fed the dog a Twinkie and tauntingly told Emrik, "I want you to get thirsty. I want you to get hungry. I want you to starve. I want you to get dehydrated." On Thursday, June 9th, 2022, Honorable ADA County District Judge Stephen Hippler sentenced Monique Osuna to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and a 100-year no-contact order for the surviving children who witnessed the abuse. He described Monique as sadistic, evil, and heartless. Emrik Osuna sentencing will be held at a later date to be set by the court.